and welcome. It is Moto Gains. And in the last video that I posted, I had a terrible issue. I couldn't speak English. No, in the last video, I found myself in a tricky situation. And so if you didn't watch that video, go ahead and make sure to watch that video. I'll leave a link for it in the description, or you can just go to my channel and click on the other video that I have that says part 1. Either way, you could do whichever you like. Oh boy, it is hot. It may be cloudy, but it is hot and hot. What am I trying to say? Oh yeah, so I was in a bit of a predicament, and what I needed was a new key. So I was a little upset and just needed to solve the issue. So a little bit before, when I got my bike originally, the guy never gave me a spare key, so I only had one key for the entirety of it. I had broken a key before. It wasn't actually me that broke it, it was my friend, so I had him go through the whole trouble of trying to get it fixed. And so this is my first time actually fixing my own key that I broke. You know, I tried as hard as I could. I went everywhere I could to try to get it fixed. A lot of people said they could fix broken keys, but they couldn't fix motorcycle keys, so that was a no-go. And then other people said they could do motorcycle keys, but they couldn't do broken keys. And so what I did end up doing is I super glued the key back together after I spent, oh my god, I spent 2 whole days getting the key out of the ignition. What I actually had to do, had to take off the top part of my triple tree, which includes taking the handlebars off, just so that I can get to the ignition. And then after I got to the ignition, then there was some, I don't want to say headless bolts, but there were some bolts that you couldn't take out unless you cut them out. So that was a fun and interesting situation there. Now I got bolts that are not supposed to be able to be undone unless you're a professional. So they are currently a flathead screwdriver fittable screw, bolt, whatever. And so that's what I ended up having to do. I had to take out the ignition and then take apart the ignition lock, and then from there I could actually get the key out of the ignition. It was a pain in the butt. Again, 2 days to do that. 2 days of a pain in my, when I could have just had the whole thing done. When I took it out of the gas tank, I didn't realize how bad it was. And then after that, I took it to Home Depot because I super glued the 2 pieces together, because I was like, you know, super glue them together, and then as long as the machine doesn't clamp down on it, it just scans it, it'll be fine. No. So at the end of day 2, after I finally got it out of the ignition, I was doing some research to find who could do what I needed it to do. And I did find one guy that could do both motorcycle keys and duplicate keys of broken keys. So what I had done was go, okay, well, he's not available today, so I'll go tomorrow. So I went into Home Depot as like, let's just see if they even have a motorcycle key. But what ended up happening is the guy took the key, put it in the machine, it broke off inside the f***ing machine. So now the only piece I have of doing anything with my motorcycle is in the f***ing machine. So he took down my name and number and said, I'll talk to management and then see what we can do, you know, have someone come out here and take it apart. And then I came back the following day, which was yesterday, and he had told me that they're probably not going to do that because that's going to be a $200 service call. I was like, okay. So for me, it's going to cost me $250 to get somebody to break into my motorcycle to, 1, get the gas cap off, because the gas cap, the only way to get the gas cap off and replace it is to unlock it. And then also, in the seat, there's a lock. So you have to unlock the seat, then you can get to the lock. So I need 2 locks picked, and then I also need either the ignition and all the others rekeyed, or just a new ignition and new other lock. So I was like, it's either gonna cost you guys or it's gonna cost me guys, myself. So I actually helped the guy take it apart. He was kind of young, but I actually helped him take apart the machine a little bit. And then I think it was 2.5 hours actually. It wasn't this one, so you can go to that. No. I'm not gonna put that in there. So it's actually like 2.5 hours that we spent, and we finally got that broken piece out, and I was like, oh my god, and then I took it to that locksmith that said he could do it. Oh my god, this guy was talented. Alright, he did not have a machine. The only thing he had was a saw blade that had a vise. The saw blade rotates this way. The vise is like this, puts the key in there. There's a knobby thing that he turns and pushes the key to the saw. And then there's another one that pushes it and rotates it left and right. So that was his machine. I kid you not, he had the broken piece sitting there next to him, the new key inside the vise, and he did that sucker in probably like 30 seconds. That was great, and it fits, it works, obviously, since I'm running it and the key doesn't come out. And then I had to make me a second key that's only half a key, and then that one will fit into my gas tank and not go all the way, or it will go all the way in, because the way it works before is only half the key goes in and then it breaks at the weakest point. So this new key doesn't have the weakest point. Like, the weakest point is way bigger and stronger than the other key. So hopefully we don't have an issue of it breaking again. And if it does break, then, you know, I can just get a new key made of that one. And I should definitely get a spare key. Everybody should have a spare key for their motorcycle. It's going to cost you $25 for all new locks, but you also have to get them picked so that you can get the locks out and replace them. Do not break keys. It mainly happens in the gas tank. The ignition lock is a 8-pin lock. Okay, so if the actual lock and key need to be this long, then the gas tank, which is only, I can't remember if it's a 4 or a 6. I haven't taken it apart, so I don't know for sure. Some people say 4, some people say 6, but basically you only need that part of the key, which means there's that part that's sticking out that has the grooves in it. So if you were to put the key in, let's say like a groove like that is sticking out, and that's where all the torque is going to be, whereas this one, right at the bottom of the red tape, that's where all the torque is, and if you look, that's the shoulder of the key. That's going to have a lot of strength. Oh, and also make sure not to jam it into your ignition. That also helps. Alright guys, if you liked the video, make sure to leave a like. Go ahead and comment on anything you want to comment on. Just make sure it's on my video and nobody else's, because that helps out a lot. Also, the other thing you can do, oopsies, that was oopsies. Also, the other thing you can do is make sure to subscribe. Turn that bell notification on so you can get my videos. And take them. Crap. Make sure you subscribe. Go ahead and turn on that bell notification. YouTube has this weird thing where it doesn't like to tell people that someone makes a video until you click on the bell notification. See you later.